They laughed at the humans once. I was among them. In the grand halls of the Galactic War Academy, we studied tactics, formation theory, and the ancient martial codes passed down from 1,000 noble species. War, for us, was an art, a performance of discipline, honor, and glorious sacrifice. Our generals led from the front. Our soldiers died with banners in their hands and names carved into stone. Even our enemies knew the rules. That was the old way. That was before humans. When the Terrans first entered galactic space, their ships were mismatched, their uniforms inconsistent, their battle plans, if one could call them that, more chaotic improvisation than strategy. We laughed. They use kinetic bullets. They still rely on ground troops. They let civilians vote on military action. Primitive. Disorganized. A species of clowns with loud music, greasy food, and poorly made entertainment. We called them a joke. Until today. The alarm sounded 17 minutes ago. Larth Prime Shipyard, the largest orbital construction facility in Sector 7X, had just sent a distress signal. 7 seconds later, the signal went dark. No weapons of mass destruction, no fleet of dreadnoughts. Just 10 humans. 10. We watched the surveillance feed in stunned silence. One wore a cape made of soda cans. Another carried a bag labeled Emotional Damage Delivery Kit. All of them were laughing. Not just killing. Laughing. They dropped from orbit using reprogrammed mining pods. Hijacked defense turrets with USB sticks. Shut down shielding using voice commands in a broken version of Galactic Basic. It wasn't an attack. It was a demonstration. And now, as I stand in the War Council chamber watching the wreckage drift across the stars, I can feel something ancient crack inside me. This wasn't war. This was madness weaponized. And we, the noble warriors of the stars, are completely unprepared. I used to teach that humans were a footnote in military history. But from this day forward, they will be the first chapter in every War Academy textbook. Because they didn't come to win honor. They came to ruin the script. And for the first time in my 800 cycles of service, I do not know how to fight what laughs at war itself. The sky above Larth Prime was calm. Peaceful. It always was. The shipyard drifted in orbit like a crown, over 12 kilometers long, laced with layered shielding, auto defenses, and a patrol fleet stationed just beyond visual range. General Varthok stood with the War Council, sipping from his ceremonial chalice, reviewing reports on the newest dreadnought class, elegant lines, aesthetically pleasing weapons arrays. Proper. And yet, whispered one admiral, they say humans send 10 men? Varthok snorted. Let them. We'll need the laugh. The first alarm sounded 32 seconds later. Object detected. Non-standard descent path. No identification signal. The humans didn't arrive in shuttles. They weren't cloaked. They dropped. Straight from high orbit. Inside modified asteroid mining capsules. Screaming through the void while blasting ancient Terran music on exterior hull speakers. Musical notes. Highway to the danger zone. Musical notes. A commando landed on dock platform 12 with a crunch, the capsule blowing open like a soda can. He was shirtless. His chest was spray-painted with the words, "Free Real Estate." He tossed a small round object. Not a grenade, but an old human music device set to full volume. It blared distorted dubstep. The guards hesitated. He tackled one of them into a fusion conduit. 4 more capsules smashed through the upper hangar bay. One commando skateboarded out while shooting dual plasma pistols. Another was wearing a bathrobe over military armor. The one in front held a flag that read, "White flag, we apologize for the mess." Security bots activated. Turrets rotated. The humans rewired them in seconds, with duct tape and sarcasm. Varthok watched the live feed as the humans overrode the shipyard's main reactor controls using nothing more than a stolen engineering tablet, an old Earth video game cheat code, and a firm slap to the side of the console. This was the opening act? Varthok said aloud, trembling. Within 2 minutes and 48 seconds of first contact, the main reactor core detonated inward, creating a spectacular implosion. The largest shipyard in the sector, a monument to centuries of galactic naval mastery, turned into a glowing ring of spinning debris. Casualty report? 0 human losses, General. One has a broken sandal. He is requesting a cold soda. Silence. The War Council was frozen. High Admiral Exorath dropped his datapad. Minister of Propaganda slowly closed his mouth. No one laughed anymore. And then came the post-op message. A transmission from one of the commandos sent wideband to every system in the sector. Dear space nerds, please note that we weren't even trying. This was a warm-up. If you'd like to discuss peace terms, we're free after lunch. Bring tacos. Signed, Team Chaos, Galactic Branch. Varthok stared at the hologram. This wasn't war, he whispered. It was an inside joke we never got to hear the setup for. He didn't know if they were insane, brilliant, or just lying to make everyone feel worse. But one thing was clear. They were human. And the galaxy had underestimated them for the last time. Welcome to Day 6 of Intro to Unconventional Galactic Conflict, aka How to Blow Up Space Stations with Style. The projector flickered to life in the underground training bunker. A hologram of a smiling alien diplomat exploded into confetti as rock music blared from hidden speakers. Standing at the front of the room, arms crossed over a red, white, and camo vest, was Officer Strawman. He had a handlebar mustache, aviators despite being underground, and a posture that screamed bad decisions made confidently. Sitting among the recruits was Private Joke, chewing on a protein bar shaped like a grenade. All right, meatbags, Strawman barked. Today we review the 4 sacred commandments of human warfare. Private Joke, start us off. Joke stood up instantly, voice sharp. Rule number 1, peace is boring. War gives you better camera angles, sir. Correct, Strawman roared. Rule number 2? Allies are just enemies we haven't betrayed yet, sir. Excellent, kid. Rule number 3? We don't invade planets. We liberate their infrastructure, sir. The entire room clapped. Someone in the back set off a party popper. Strawman nodded proudly. Back in 2025, during what historians now call the golden age of satirical conflict, we realized 2 things. Most galactic species don't have a sense of humor. That's exactly why we win. He hit a button. Behind him, a chart popped up. Galactic Warfare, a comparison. Greltari, Honor, Formations, Dual Codes. Draknari, Precision, Hierarchy, Protocol. Humans. Small Diamond Memes. Small Diamond Chaos. Small Diamond Improvised Explosives, plus emotional damage. Private Joke raised his hand. Sir, what about puppet dictators? When do we install one? Strawman beamed. Excellent timing. That's Module 3B, Strategic Destabilization for Fun and Profit. But remember, the puppet must appear just weak enough to need us, but strong enough to shoot protesters. Joke jotted it down. Now Strawman continued. Let's talk about morale weapons. Real soldiers use guns, commandos use shame. He paced. A targeted meme can collapse an enemy culture faster than a plasma torpedo. A TikTok of you drinking their emperor's wine? That's psychological warfare at a strategic level, soldier. He turned serious for a moment. Don't forget, we're not heroes. We're narrative disruption agents. The screen changed again. Footage played from the Larth Prime raid. One commando singing karaoke through a hacked intercom. Another firing glitter-filled rockets at elite guards. The room cheered. Private Joke, Strawman said. When is the right time to switch sides mid-war? When it gets funny, sir. And what do we call peace treaties? A waste of good explosions, sir. Strawman clutched his chest. You make me proud, son. That's the commando way. The simulation alarm buzzed. All lights turned red. Joke stood, slinging his rifle, grinning. Sir, should we use puppet dictator strategy, or just explode the comms tower and release 40 cloned raccoons? Strawman nodded sagely. Whichever makes them look dumber on interstellar news, son. They fist bumped. Back to present. General Varthok reviewed intercepted footage of this training session, trembling. They taught satire as doctrine? And somehow, it worked. Ambassador Grelton Maru had 6 hearts, and all of them were racing. The holographic war table flickered violently as live feeds from Sector 17 came in. The Oran Defense Fleet, 300 ships strong, was being systematically dismantled by a group of human strike teams. Explosions rippled across the flagship. Escape pods launched into a storm of interference. That's the Oran fleet, he shrieked. They're our allies. We signed the multi-species peace accord just last cycle. A low, amused voice answered behind him. Yes, you did. We didn't. Grelton turned to see a human, Lieutenant Scree, chewing on gum, helmet tucked under one arm, sipping something frothy through a straw. You betrayed your own allies? The ambassador choked. Why? Why would you do this? Scree looked at him like a teacher explaining basic math to a toddler. Listen, Glitter Boy, there are no real alliances in war. Only temporary roles in a cosmic puppet show. You're either the audience, the actor, or the one cutting the strings. He pointed at the screen as one Oran battleship split in half. Boom, scene change. But the treaty, Grelton began. Treaties are bedtime stories for species afraid of improvisation, Scree interrupted. You think rules win wars? Try memes, misinformation, and a flamethrower disguised as a violin. The alien diplomat staggered, gripping the table. This is madness! Scree smiled. No, this is human strategy. He tapped on a datapad and brought up a file labeled Operation Stab and Laugh. Below it, Mission Objective, Ruin Faith in Interstellar Cooperation. You plan to betray them? Grelton whispered. Scree shrugged. Of course. Oran tech was valuable, but trust? That was the real weapon. We let the galaxy believe in teamwork, and then we burned the team mid-game. He popped the straw. Nice latte, by the way. Your embassy machine makes a mean caramel froth. At that moment, a new feed loaded. Oran Emperor's live press conference. He was crying. On galactic broadcast. We trusted them. We trusted the humans. The comment section exploded with L plus ratio, plus you got earthed. Another Alliance speed run. WR, 0 hours, 3 minutes and 14 seconds. Try friendship mode next time, scrub. Grelton felt faint. You're not even ashamed. Scree tilted his head. Why would we be? Shame is for the defeated, we're just getting warmed up. He leaned close. Next time, don't sign treaties, sign waivers. Outside the embassy window, streaks of human drop pods lit up the sky again. Another ally was about to get liberated. And somewhere, in the stars, the commandos were laughing. They are not using missiles. No, sir. They are not using drones. No, sir. They're using dancing lizards and fake celebrity interviews? Yes, sir. High Counselor Rendex Thal of the Tellurian Broadcast Alliance slammed his many fingers onto the control panel as screens around him lit up, not with war footage, but with chaotic, human-generated nonsense. On one screen, the Supreme Chancellor of the Kuroth Empire appeared to confess that his species were just highly evolved earthworms in cosplay. That's fake, Rendex shouted. It's clearly a deepfake. And yet, his aide whispered, it has 83 billion views. Across the galaxy, panic bloomed like wildfire. Riots broke out on planets that believed the sun was being colonized by invisible humans. Religious sects formed worshipping a fictional war hero called Captain McBeef Supreme. A children's cartoon featuring a wisecracking toaster started a rebellion on Sector 9D. The source? A human disinformation campaign codenamed Operation Memetic Overkill. Launched through repurposed weather satellites, rogue data clouds, and thousands of AI bots trained on Earth's worst forums, the operation was pure psychological saturation. It's not about truth, said one intercepted commando log. It's about noise. Truth drowns when the signal to cringe ratio collapses. On the Kuroth flagship, Admiral Zikal Mar watched a video titled, Top 10 Signs Your Government is Secretly a Space Lizard, Number 7 Will Destroy You. He paused. He opened a cabinet. He pulled out a scale reduction kit and started shaving his arms. By nightfall, he had defected to the humans and started a podcast. Rendex trembled. This is psychological warfare. But it's somehow hilarious, his aide added weakly. On another screen, a cooking show was airing, hosted by an AI deepfake of a popular alien singer. But every recipe ended in, and then you salt it with tears from betrayed allies and detonate the oven. Applause track, laughs. A weirdly catchy jingle. 30 million views in under a minute. Worse, entire defense systems began shutting down, not from hacking, but from overloaded content filters, trying to process whether Boomer Protocol-based or cringe was a threat level. The final blow came when humans uploaded a fake interview with the president of the Allied Stars, convincingly saying, "We surrendered to the humans. Also, pineapple does belong on pizza." Rebellion broke out across 5 worlds instantly. General Varthok received the classified briefing. He read the first line. Victory through virality. He looked up, pale. We were trained to fight warriors, not influencers. The screen behind him flashed one last viral message. Humanity, now available in 4K misinformation. Hashtag it earthed, hashtag where's the algorithm. And across the stars, planets that once called humanity primitive now knelt, not because of fear, but because their entire civilizations were laughing themselves into collapse. The Grand Galactic War Council convened in an emergency session. 12 species. 14 holographic displays. One shared sense of complete panic. A hologram replayed Earth's latest broadcast. A human in a bathrobe giving a peace speech while juggling flaming pineapples and mocking every species in song. They don't follow our code, Chancellor Verlac hissed, his frills twitching. They don't have a code, screamed Minister Kalithu, slamming his tentacles on the table. The Vothari Admiral attempted logic. We implement Interception Protocol Sigma, Standard War Doctrine. Block their supplies, sever communications. They have no supply chain, interrupted a dry voice. They brought nothing but an AI cooler filled with Red Bull and fermented cheese sticks. Another commander suggested disabling their homeworld. Earth? Laughed the Kurulth representative. They have 17 governments who can't agree on what breakfast is. You can't disable Earth. You can only confuse it further. General Varthok stood slowly. He looked older than he had in Scene 1. I trained my whole life in formations, strategy, military law, and they threw bees at my soldiers during our last battle. Everyone turned. Bees? Someone asked. Genetically engineered, rocket-propelled bees, Varthok confirmed solemnly. The swarm spelled out boom in our sky before attacking. It was coordinated performance art. A psychic species attempted a preemptive mind-read assault. They failed. Too many meme fragments, one psychic wheezed. Their minds are just layers of sarcasm, trauma, and internet jokes. It's like trying to read static while drowning in glitter. A respected diplomat proposed a counter-propaganda campaign. He launched it galaxy-wide. It lasted 4 minutes. It was instantly turned into a remix with a dancing banana and went viral with the caption, "When your PR team gets ratioed by a human in a chicken suit." Back in the war chamber, despair bloomed. Nothing works. They change tactics mid-laugh. They weaponize embarrassment. They meme their own failures before we can exploit them. An AI tactician tried simulating possible victory paths. Calculating. Error. Unpredictable target. Rebooting galaxy. Someone whimpered. They're not soldiers. They're genre benders. Varthok clenched his fists. We wrote the rules. We taught the code. We expected enemies who feared defeat. He looked up. But the humans, they don't fear anything, not even looking stupid. And that makes them the most dangerous warriors in the galaxy. Outside the chamber, human commandos parachuted onto a nearby moon, dressed as clowns, holding fireworks and singing karaoke. They were throwing a victory party in advance. Logic had failed. The war was lost. Not to strength, not to numbers, but to pure, unrelenting chaos. Begin transmission log. Commander Varthok of the 3rd Stellar Vanguard. Classification, final report. Timestamp, Galactic Cycle 311.9, hour 23:59. This will be my last entry. The war is over. Not because we signed a treaty. Not because we were conquered. but because the rules stopped mattering. I lost my flagship to a rubber chicken bomb. I lost my fleet to an ironic dance trend that caused the pilots to eject voluntarily. I lost my allies when they began live streaming their surrender speeches with human TikTok filters. I lost my pride the moment I realized I was still trying to win by playing chess against a feral pack of improv comedians with rocket launchers. I once believed war was about glory, about clean lines and elegant tactics, about honor, standing tall, flags waving in solar winds. But I watched a human duct tape a flamethrower to a saxophone and call it diplomacy. And it worked. They don't conquer in the traditional sense. They unravel you from the inside. Your logic, your rules, your beliefs, turned into punchlines. They meme you into madness. They weaponize embarrassment. They win because they're unpredictable, and they laugh while doing it. I fought warriors. But what I encountered were narrative terrorists, reality benders wrapped in leather jackets, shouting catchphrases and playing board games during orbital sieges. And the worst part? I secretly admire them now. They fight like jazz. Improvised. Chaotic. Brilliant. They turn shame into armor. They mock fear until it flees. They joke in the face of annihilation. And somehow, that keeps them alive. I was trained to win battles. They were trained to turn battles into content. The punchline is this. We thought we were the masters of war. But they were just playing a different genre. One where the only rule is, make it entertaining. And they did. If anyone finds this log, let it be known. Humanity didn't defeat us with force. They defeated us with style. And maybe, just maybe, war was never about honor or glory. Maybe it was always just about surviving long enough to laugh at the ending. End log. Commander Varthok, signing off. Soundtrack recommendation, Never Gonna Give You Up, Ancient Earth Anthem. The war was over. But something far more dangerous had begun. Across 1,000 star systems, a strange transformation took root. Not in territory, but in culture. Gone were the rigid war academies, the stoic statues of honor-bound generals, the pristine tactical treatises. In their place, meme-forged doctrine manuals. Battle songs composed entirely of sarcasm. Military uniforms with optional clown noses and gold-plated grappling hooks. The Tellurian Navy scrapped its honor code and replaced it with a single line. If it ain't chaotic, it ain't tactical. Recruitment posters now read, lie, cheat, meme, and win. Don't stand tall, confuse tall. Glory is dead. Long live the punchline. Alien youth lined up to enlist in new commando-style subversion units, wearing mismatched gear, quoting Earth sitcoms, and learning advanced sarcasm in training drills. Instructors now shouted, "What do we say when facing superior firepower? Post a selfie in ACT unbothered, sir." Even the ancient Varnathi emperors, who once banned laughter and war, revised their constitution. All state-approved battles must now include irony, improvisation, and at least one glitter-based distraction. At a forgotten outpost near the border of human space, a lone statue was unveiled. It wasn't a hero with a sword. It was a commando, leaning casually on a laser bazooka, wearing shades, mid-sip of a slushie. A plaque read, "To humanity, who turned war into a joke and then won it." And in every corner of the galaxy, one truth echoed louder than ever before. Humans were no longer the punchline. They were the writers.